Welcome again to the lecture series of signals and systems. In the last lecture, we have seen some useful examples from the discrete time Fourier transform, and we have seen some of the important properties related to this tool, discrete time Fourier transform. In this lecture, we will come to know some more important properties related to the discrete time Fourier transform. So, in the previous lecture, what we have seen is the linearity property of the Fourier transform and the time shifting property of the discrete time Fourier transform. Now we will consider another important property of the DTFT, which is frequency shifting property. Frequency shifting property. The frequency shifting property states that if a given signal xn has discrete time Fourier transform x of omega, then e power j omega naught n xn has the Fourier transform equal to x of omega minus omega naught. Means if the signal in the time domain is multiplied by a complex exponential e power j omega naught n, then this signal in the frequency domain will be shifted by a factor omega naught. Now consider the proof of this property. Suppose there is a signal e power j omega naught n into xn, and we have to get the Fourier transform of this signal. Then we know the relation to get the Fourier transform of a given sequence xn. The Fourier transform of xn can be determined by using the relation n is from minus infinite to infinite x of n e power minus j omega n. So we will put this function in the given relation as this will become n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, and in place of xn the given signal here is e power j omega naught n into x of n. So I will write here e power j omega naught n into x of n. This is the given signal for which we have to get the Fourier transform, and this will be multiplied by e power minus j omega n. Combined these two terms, because these two are exponentials, so this will become sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite. This will become sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite e power j omega naught n into e power minus j omega n into x of n, and this will be equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of n into e power minus j, I will take minus out common, and this will become omega minus omega naught into n, omega minus omega naught into n. Now compare this equation by this equation. In place of omega here, the given term is omega minus omega naught. It means that this given sequence can be written as x of omega minus omega naught. So by this property we can say that if the signal xn is multiplied by a complex exponential j omega naught n, then the frequency domain of this signal in its frequency domain will be shifted by minus omega naught, or we can say that in the frequency domain this signal x of omega will be shifted to the right by omega naught. And similarly, if the signal xn is multiplied by e power minus j omega naught n, if it is multiplied by e power minus here j omega naught n, then signal in the frequency domain will become x of omega plus omega naught. So remember this sign. If it is plus here, then this will be minus omega naught, and if it is minus here, then this will be plus omega naught. So this is what the frequency shifting property of the discrete time Fourier transform states. The next property is time reversal property. The next is time reversal property. Time reversal means if the signal get folded about its y-axis, means if there is a given signal xt, then after taking the time reversal of this signal, this will become x of minus t. And if the given signal is x of n, then after time reversal, this will become x of minus n. So the time reversal property of the discrete time Fourier transform states that if the given signal x of n has its Fourier transform x of omega, then the Fourier transform of x of minus n will be x of minus omega. We can find the proof of this property also. The Fourier transform of, we know that the Fourier transform of x of n can be written as sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite. This is x of n into e power minus j omega n. This is the expression to determine the discrete time Fourier transform of a given signal xn. And what we have to get is, we have to get the discrete time Fourier transform of this signal x of minus n. So this will become equal to, if we want to get the Fourier transform of given sequence x of minus n, then in place of minus n, in place of n, all the n here will be replaced by minus n. So this will become n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of minus n e power minus, instead of minus this will become plus j omega n. So this is the Fourier transform of the given signal x of minus n. I can write this again as, this will be equal to Fourier transform of x of minus n will be equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of minus n e power minus j minus omega into n. So if we compare with the standard relation of getting the discrete time Fourier transform, instead of n everywhere here it is written x of minus n, or we can write it as, again this signal can be written as, this will be equal to x of minus omega. This is what the time reversal property of the discrete time Fourier transform states, that if the signal is getting time, if we are making the time reversal of the signal in the time domain, then in the frequency domain also this signal will get the this signal will get the reversal about the y axis. The next property is time differentiation property. Time differentiation property states that if x of omega is the Fourier transform of the given sequence, this is not time domain, this is frequency domain differentiation. We cannot differentiate this signal in the time domain because this is a discrete signal. So we can get the frequency domain differentiation of the given signal. So if the x of omega is the discrete time Fourier transform of the given sequence x of n, then the if we differentiate this signal in the frequency domain, this will become the signal in the time domain will be multiplied by n. So this will become in the time domain, this will become n times x of n. This is what the frequency differentiation property states, and we will see in the proof that when the signal in the time domain is multiplied by n, then signal in the frequency domain will be differentiated with respect to omega. We will find a j here, or we can multiply with minus j here. So both things are same. So here it will be another term j. To find the proof of this, we know that Fourier transform of f x of n will be equal to capital X of omega is equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of n into e power minus j omega n. This is the relation to get the discrete time Fourier transform of the given sequence xn. This is known to everyone. Now, because we have to get the frequency differentiation of this signal, so we have to differentiate this x of omega with respect to omega. So I will write it as dd omega of x of omega is equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of n d omega of e power minus j omega n. Now in the differentiation we will put this term out of the differentiation because we are differentiating the given relation with respect to omega, not with respect to n. So x of n here is a constant term with respect to omega. So what we have to differentiate is, we will differentiate only this term e power minus j omega n. So this will become sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x of n, and differentiation of e power minus j omega n will become minus j omega into e power minus j omega n. And further this can be written as sigma n. This is not omega because we are differentiating with respect to omega. This is minus j into n. So this will become n is from minus infinite to plus infinite minus this is n times x of n into e power minus j omega n into e power minus j omega n multiplied by minus j. So compare this with the given relation of discrete time Fourier transform. Compare this and this. In place of xn here, it is written n times x of n. It means that this is the Fourier transform of n times x of n. It means that the if we differentiate the signal in the frequency domain, then signal in the time domain will be multiplied by minus jn into this is x of n. So instead of writing minus j here, we can multiply in this relation by minus j, and this will become Fourier transform of n times xn will be equal to j times d by d omega of x omega. This is what the time differentiation, frequency differentiation property of the discrete time Fourier transform states. Now look into some other more important properties. This is the frequency differentiation property. So if we will differentiate the signal in the frequency domain, then the signal in the time domain will be multiplied by n, or we can say that if we multiply the sequence in the time domain by n, then the Fourier transform of this signal will be differentiated with respect to omega. Next property is convolution property. Time convolution property. Time convolution property. This property states that if the Fourier transform of the given sequence x1n is x1 of omega, and the Fourier transform of the given sequence, and if the Fourier transform of x2 of n is x2 of omega, then the time convolution property states that if we are taking the convolution, means convolution of x1 and x2n, then the Fourier transform of this convolution will give multiplication of the signals in the frequency domain. Means the Fourier transform of x1n convolution with x2n will be equal to x1 of omega into x2 of omega. It means that the convolution in the time domain will lead to the multiplication in the frequency domain. How? Let's see the proof. We can write the Fourier transform of x1 of n convolution with x2 of n equal to sigma x1n convolution with x2n into e power minus j omega n. And we know that the convolution, from the convolution theorem, we can say that this x1n convolution with x2n can be written as sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, k is from minus infinite to plus infinite here, x1 k into x2 n minus k. So in place of this convolution of x1n with x2n, we can write this expression. So put this value of x1 convolution with x2 in the given relation. This will become Fourier transform of x1n convolution with x2n will be equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, and in place of this I will write sigma k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1k into x2 n minus k, and here it is e power minus j omega n. Now changing the order of this summation, this will become equal to, I can write it as sigma k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of k, here it is, into sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, this is x2 n minus k into e power minus j omega n. Here it is k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of k into n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x2 of n minus k into e power minus j omega n. Again we will consider this n minus k as some other variable, suppose it is equal to z. Now this is to consider that n minus k is equal to some other variable z. Then if limit on the n is from minus infinite to plus infinite, then this z will also be from, this will exist from minus infinite to plus infinite. So limit on the z will remain same as it was on the n. Again if this n minus k equal to z, then in place of n we can write, in place of n we can write z plus k. Now put all these values in this given relation, this will become Fourier transform of x1 of n convolution with x2 of n is equal to sigma k is from minus infinite to minus plus infinite x1 of k into sigma, now n will become z, it is z from minus infinite to plus infinite, and in place of n minus k I will write x2 of z here, and e power minus j, in place of n I will write here it is z plus k, in place of n I will write minus j omega into z plus k. Further this can be written as sigma k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of k sigma x2 of n e power minus j omega z into minus j omega k. Distribute these two exponentials with their respective terms, as put this e minus j omega k with the x1 of k, this is k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of k into e power minus j omega k. I will put this here and this will become e power minus j omega k, and this is sigma z is from minus infinite to plus infinite x2 of z into e power minus j omega z. Now this is the Fourier transform of the given sequence x1 of n, which is k is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 of k e power minus j omega k. This is the discrete time Fourier transform of x1, which is equal to x1 of omega. and this is z is from minus infinite to plus infinite. X2 of z e power minus j omega z means this is the discrete time Fourier transform of the given sequence x2 of n. So this will be written as x2 of omega. It means that the Fourier transform of the convolution of two given sequences x1n and x2n will be equal to x1 of omega into x2 of omega. Means if we are going to convolve the two sequences in the time domain, they will get multiplied in the frequency domain. So it is more easy to to multiply two signals, to multiply the Fourier transform of two signals and get back the same signal by taking the inverse Fourier transform of this signal. So this is what the convolution property of the discrete time Fourier transform states, that if the signal sequences are gets convolved in the time domain, then they will get multiplied in the frequency domain. The next property is multiplication property. Multiplication this multiplication property states that if the given sequence x1n has Fourier transform is x1 of omega and x2n has Fourier transform x2 of omega, then if we will multiply these two signals in the time domain, then Fourier transform of their multiplications x1n into x2n will lead to their convolution in the frequency domain, x1 of omega convolution with x2 of omega. This is what we will get from the multiplication property, or we can say that frequency convolution property of the Fourier transform. Frequency convolution property of the Fourier transform. We can write it as frequency convolution property. So, to prove this property, the take the Fourier transform of this signal x1n into x2n. This will be equal to sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1n into x2n into e power minus j omega n, and in place of x1n we can write the inverse Fourier transform as x1n is the inverse Fourier transform of the x1 of omega, which is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration, limit is from minus pi to pi, x1 of omega e power j omega n d omega. So in place of x1n we can write this relation as sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite. In place of x1n I will write here 1 upon 2 pi integration from minus pi to pi x1 omega e power j omega n d omega into this term x2n x2 of n into e power minus j omega n. So in place of I will put this term in place of x1 of n only, and x2 of n into e power minus j omega n will remain there as it is. Now change the order of integration and summation. I can write it as summation of x1 of omega n is from minus infinite to plus infinite. This is summation of x1 of omega into integration from minus pi to plus pi. No, write it as x1 of omega integration from minus pi to pi. Here it is x2 n e power minus j omega n d omega. This can be written in this way, or we can write it after changing the order of integration. We can write it as, because we have to put the summation with x2 of n and integration with the x1 omega, because x1 omega is a continuous signal and x2 of n is a discrete signal. So in this case we have to put this summation with this x2 of n and this integration with x1 of omega. So this will become 1 upon 2 pi. I will put outside of the summation. This will become minus pi to plus pi. Here it is x1 of omega into sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite e power x2 n into e power minus j omega n, and here in place of x1 n, x e power j omega n is also here. So it is e power plus j. This is not omega, consider it as some other variable. Suppose this is e power zn and this is x1 of omega, not this is x1 of z. Suppose this is x1 of z. So this will become x1 of z into x2 of n. Sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite e power minus j omega n into e power plus j z n. So this can be further simplified as 1 upon 2 pi. Integration is from minus pi to pi x1 of z into sigma n is from minus infinite to plus infinite x2 of n into e power minus j omega minus z into n. By comparison, we can say that what this is, because x of omega, we know x of omega is equal to sigma xn e power minus j omega n, and if here it is instead of omega, here written is it is omega minus z. Instead of omega it is omega minus z here. It means that this is the shifted form of the x of omega. So this can be written as 1 upon 2 pi integration from minus pi to pi x1 of z into this is x2 of omega minus z. This is what represents, this is d omega is also here, dz is also here. So this is the formula to get the convolution of two signals. I can write it as this. This is the convolution of x1 of omega and x2 of omega can be written in this form in one time period from minus pi to pi. So this is what we can say, that This is the multiplication property, or we can say that this is the frequency convolution property of the discrete time Fourier transform. The remaining properties are, because the Fourier transform of the given sequence xn is periodic with the period 2 pi. So x of omega is periodic with the period 2 pi. So we can include a property which is called periodicity of the discrete time Fourier transform, which states that the x of omega is periodic with a period of 2 pi. So if x of omega is periodic with a period of 2 pi, we can write x of omega plus 2n pi will be equal to x of omega. This is the periodicity property of the discrete time Fourier transform. So we are left with two more important properties, which is modulation property of the discrete time Fourier transform. Modulation property, important property, which states that if the Fourier transform of given sequence x of n is equal to capital S x of omega, and this sequence is multiplied by a cosine signal as xn cos of omega naught n, then Fourier transform of this sequence, if the sequence x of n is multiplied by cosine signal cos of omega naught n, then Fourier transform of this signal will become equal to 1 by 2 x of omega minus omega naught plus x of omega plus omega naught. It means that if in the time domain the signal is multiplied by cos of omega naught, then in the frequency domain the signal will be shifted right by omega naught, it will be shifted left by omega naught, and its amplitude will get halved. Now to get the proof of this, we can use the frequency shifting property of the discrete time Fourier transform. The given sequence x of n into cos of omega naught n can be written as x of n into e power j omega naught, here it is j omega naught n plus e power minus j omega naught n divided by 2. This cos of omega naught n can be written in the form of exponentials, complex exponentials, in this way, which is equal to e power plus j omega naught n plus e power minus j omega naught n divided by 2. And we know that the frequency shifting property of the Fourier transform, which states that if the Fourier transform of xn is x of omega, then Fourier transform e power j omega naught n will be equal to x of omega minus omega naught, and e power minus j omega naught n Fourier transform of this signal will be equal to x of omega plus omega naught. So from here, by using this frequency shifting property of the Fourier transform, we can write it as this: the Fourier transform of xn cos of omega naught n will be equal to Fourier transform of x of n multiplied by e power plus j omega naught n by 2 plus Fourier transform of e power x of n into e power minus j omega naught n divided by 2. Now from the frequency shifting property we can write it as x of omega minus omega naught by 2 plus x of omega plus omega naught by 2, and combinedly this can be written as Fourier transform of x of n multiplied by cos of omega naught n will be equal to 1 by 2 x of omega minus omega naught plus x of omega plus omega. This is what the modulation property of the discrete time Fourier transform states, that if the Fourier transform of x of omega, x of n is equal to x of omega, then the Fourier transform of x of n multiplied by cos of omega naught n will be equal to 1 by 2 x of omega minus omega naught plus x of omega plus omega naught. This shows the frequency shifting of the signal, frequency translation of the signal xn from its low frequency regions to the high frequency region. That's why this is called modulation property of the discrete time Fourier transform. So we are left with one more property, which is called Parseval's theorem. By using discrete time we can find the energy of the given sequence xn by using this Parseval's relation. So this will be discussed in the next lecture. This is all for this lecture. Thank you.